Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining me. In case you didn't know, my name is Todd Bryson. I'm an Akashic Records practitioner. I come today with some important information and information that I've collected from cosmic brothers and sisters. Before I get into that, I want to let you know about some things that I have going on my end. So I have been, for the last month or 2 months, whatever it is, I've been really pressing the Akashic Records to figure out a way to get me on camera more, because in the work that I do, managing the resources to do the work is the hardest part of it. And, with the state of the world right now, there's more going than there is coming. But I do feel like I've been given the solution that I was looking for. So hopefully you guys will see me on camera a little bit more often. So I also want to let you know about the resonance cluster, and I've mentioned this in video a couple of times. I'm really proud of the resonance cluster, and it has by far been the most challenging thing that I've produced to this point. I've spent, massive amounts of money researching and developing it, and happy to say that we are in the last stages of the development, so you guys should be seeing that soon. It does include everything that I utilize both in session and in my own personal work in the Akash to facilitate the exchanges that take place there. And I'm proud of the resonance cluster too, because since I started developing it in November, there's been a lot of pressure financially to get it out the door, to get it in the market, to get anything from it. So the version that I'm releasing now, having had that patience and, the resolve and the priority not to force it, what's going to come to you guys now is much better than it would have been before. Okay, and let's get into the messages now. And you guys should know that humanity is entering into a very important period of time. Make sure that you guys are compatible with observing what's taking place now through the highest timeline or the lens of the highest timeline. The precedent is being set. If you seek to manipulate or destroy the natural order, you will come into confrontation with the ones who are meant to uphold it. So there are some very important things, very important lessons being learned in this place. And if anything, you watching my videos, you listening to my messages, I want you to take from them that you being here is important. That the work that you're doing, the actions you take, the precedent that you set, all of it is really important, because there are those who are outside looking in and even inside looking out, who observe and employ what they're learning and what they're taking from you. So the universe is watching. There is going to be an increase in the efforts to push things like brain chips, implants, VR, even instruments and technology to manipulate your dream time. And I will let you know that you already have all of those things built in. Any engagement in things like that in this lifetime or in this reality, yes, they do serve purposes. If you're a crime listener, you know about the importance in VR, in the future of healing and all of that stuff. But for the most part, these things are going to be utilized as introducing people to a crude knockoff of what they already have in their inner world built in. So you should not be seeking external tools and resources for experience. You should be disengaging from the illusion and opening yourself to the inner world that already has those things built in, and then some. And about that, a lot of you are not really seeing the progress that you've made. And, that's a tough situation to be in, because we work so hard. We do our best to carve our path and to make our way in this place. And we want the results. We want to know that we've done something. So the guides have let me know that they are going to start letting you have a taste of the past, meaning that some of you are going to be slipping in and out to versions of you that have already come and gone. And this has been the case for me individually. So when you're ascending your consciousness, when you're expanding your awareness, there are stages that you do it in, and sometimes you'll leave one stage and you'll feel like you've lost your connection. You'll have to calibrate yourself to the same experiences that you were getting familiar with. So recently, I completely had my third eye shut down. And when I'm in the Akashic Records and when I'm not looking for masters to learn from or to observe, when I'm not looking for students to teach or to lead, if there's not already a dimension there structured for me to explore and to find something in, I will use my third eye to open up. I probably have 6 to 8 different frequencies that I go into to explore and to have fun in. I was cut off from those, and it wasn't frustrating to me because I know that it's just about compatibility. It's vibrational compatibility. But then what I did is I kind of invested in my disciplines. I went deeper into meditation. I focused and talked to my body. Went in and had a look at all of my individual chakra centers. And then I returned to that space, and those experiences were still closed to me. So then, it kind of gets the wheels turning. What am I doing wrong? Did I do something wrong that kind of took me away from this? But really what I was asked to do is I was asked to take a different approach. And then I started to see the focus point in my third eye, which the focus point is always there. And I do follow the focus point, but that's not really my main means of travel in the astral space. And the thing about the focus point is if you're seeing the focus point, it's likely that there's already a dimension there structured for you that they kind of anticipate you going in and learning and gaining something from. So what I did is I kind of focused my intention and my resources to holding on to that focus point. And I was getting frustrated because I would put my eyes on the focus point and, you're closing your eyes, but the physical eyes still want to go and find the focus point. And every time you do that, the focus point goes away. So what I did is I rested my eyes and I've moved my eyes angled so that they were looking down as far as possible. And I used my third eye to focus on the focus point. And when I did, it felt like somebody pulled a slingshot back and then threw me into a vortex. And where I ended up was a location where I had my very first lucid dream experience. And my breath was taken away. I was walking on a sandy beach, and on the other side of the beach, there was like a bay. On the other side, there was a big city that looked like it was maybe a few hundred years in the future. This is where I had my first lucid dream, and I had not thought about it for years and years and years. They wanted me to disengage from the way that I was doing it so that I could try something new. And when I did, they slingshotted me into that familiar place with all of my senses engaged, much more immersed than I was previously or could have been previously. So they might have you tap into a new version of you so that you can come back into your now with more context about what your experience has been and what has occurred on the path that you've walked. They may cut off your gifts for a period of time so that you dig deeper into your disciplines and that you take a different approach because there's a new experience for you because you've maybe exhausted the other ones or time to move on to something else. So if you feel like you've lost your connection, maybe the illusion is calling your name more, come back to the center, find your disciplines, take a different approach, try something new. Maybe that was the point all along. But, whatever you do, the quantum spaces await your arrival, and you're already there. Learn how to do it consciously. Learn how to meld with those versions of yourself. Take those experiences with you and bring them back with you. That's what we should be curious about. Not how much can we save and spend for, to put a headset on our face 24/7. Okay, and a lot of you right now are finding your purpose, and a lot of you out there are still looking for what your purpose is. And I will let you know that sometimes the purpose falls in your lap. Sometimes you have to chase the purpose. Sometimes you just wait around for that purpose to arrive and it doesn't seem like it ever has or ever does. I will let you know in doing sessions, over 1,600 sessions, often those sessions are about finding purpose and clarifying what the purpose is. The purpose that you have might be very different than the one that you imagine you should have or should be pursuing or experiencing. And I will let you know that some souls are meant to come to the earth and they do have a specific purpose and it falls into their lap and they have zero resistance and it all comes to them, and some don't have that. If you're in the category of, I don't have that purpose, I've not found that purpose, I'll let you know right now that it is your job to create that purpose. And the reason why is that you as a soul, you do not want to be pigeonholed into doing something specific. That would be a disservice to your potential. That would be a disservice to humanity. That would be a disservice to the opportunity that you have in this place that you've worked very hard to acquire. If you feel like you're waiting for a purpose to arrive, or if you're waiting for an envelope to come from Spirit with a specific assignment explaining in detail everything that you should do, everywhere that you should go, everybody that you should meet, you are cutting yourself off from the opportunity to act as the creator being that you are. And keep in mind, you're pretending that this is a new experience for you. You're pretending that this is the first time you've been here. This is the first time you'll have this opportunity. You've done this a lot of times before. You don't want this story to be identical to the stories before. You want this to be its own thing. You want it to stand apart. You want it to be a very unique piece of your library when things are said and done. Don't wait for an assignment. Don't wait for a purpose. Go out there in the world, observe, absorb, and create your own. You might just surprise yourself with what you come up with. And, the answer to this from your side might be, I've tried so many things and I've failed. I've done this a lot of times before, but it was never really abundant for me. Or I've pursued this with everything I have. I don't have anything left. Now I need to stop. And I feel you on that. And I talked about in a couple of videos ago about letting yourself be or getting busy and going to work. And, that is still true. There's no failure. The things that you've done before, there's no failure. And your guides might have been in allowing you to not succeed in what you were pursuing. They may have been preventing you from attaching to something that was much lower than what you've come to experience. So think about it. The truth about a lot of your failure, if it wasn't meant for you to learn, is that it could have been a preventative measure, and this goes for, relationships, jobs, the job that we lost that we were sure we would be at forever, the girlfriend that left us who we were sure was the one that we were meant to be with. A lot of the things that are perceived as failures, shortcomings, or missed opportunities in your life may have been preventative measures stopping you from attaching to something that was lesser than what you deserved or what you came to experience. So keep that in mind. Reframe what your experience has been. Leave it in the past or move forward applying what you've learned. And I will let you know, in fulfilling my purpose and creating my purpose, the biggest task, the biggest challenge in doing it, like we said, is resource management. Because we want the wind to be at our back, which requires a vibrational sweet spot that is very hard to hold and maintain in the third dimensional space. So how do we supplement that? How do we do everything that we need to do while experiencing and getting by in the third dimension? What can we do to find those resources in an environment that is so demanding of what we have? one thing that you can do is you can start Dharma farming. And you should know that your acts of service, not only your acts of service, your thoughts of service, are going to cultivate from you what is known as Dharma. Dharma can be used as a catalyst for your highest timeline and an eliminator of what you perceive or experience as resistance. So when you see somebody out in the world who maybe needs a little something, you're a light being, you're going to observe them, you're a healer, you're going to take action. What comes from that action? You, in your nature, you're going to act unconditionally. You're going to see, you're going to serve, let the universe will take care of what it takes care of. So even when your actions are not taken in anticipation of getting something in return, the universe systematically is going to return to you what is called Dharma. Dharma can be used by the conscious being who is expanding their awareness to accelerate the process of expansion. The system that is in place is one that rewards service, perspective, compassion, and consideration. When you broadcast those things into the field with thoughts and actions, the fruits of your labor will be abundant. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, you guys. I will see you soon. Goodbye.